Hello and welcome to part 5 of the C++ coding homework, where we are creating Animal Crossing patterns. In our previous video we finally got to draw the box, and in this video we will draw the X. Now the X, let me just show it. Alright, so here's our X, 15 by 15. We are going to be drawing line by line, and you may be thinking going like the first character and the last, then the second and the one before the last, and so forth. But the way I'm going to be looking at it is I'm going to look at this part from top left to the bottom right and draw that, and then also draw the top right to the bottom left. So it's gonna be basically just the first character, second, third, fourth, and all the way to the 15th. And on this side we start from the 15, then 14, 13, and all the way to the first one, or the index 0 in our array. So that's how I'm going to be drawing the X. Now I'm going to be drawing straight to the file, since that's what we are doing. We are not displaying it in our console. So I'm just going to copy paste. That stays the same thing, or it remains the same. But I'm going to do also borrow these, and in between we will do our for loops. So a for, and again this is the rows for R for rows, and it's less than the number of elements, and R++, and in it, or within it, we will do our inner loop, which is the integer C equals 0, C for columns. C is less than the number of elements, because it's 15 by 15, so they're the same 15 elements. And in it we have to check, again like we did with the box, we have to check where our cursor is and when to draw our symbol. So I'm going to be using basically the rows. Remember, I'm going to be using the first character, second, third, fourth, and so forth, all the way to the 15th. So that's for the top left to the bottom right. And to do that, I'm simply going to draw a character when R equals 0, then R equals 1, and so forth. And so I'm going to be doing if statement. So if C, since I am actually drawing within the inner loop, if C equals R, in other words, if R is 0 and C is 0, then we will draw the character. If R is 0 and C is 1, then we won't. But if then R is 1 and C is 1, we'll draw a character. If R is 1 and C is 2, we won't. Or if R is 1 and C is 0, we still won't, only when these two numbers match. Then we can do our output file and draw the pattern symbol. So I'm going to comment this. This draws the left to right line in X. Alright, so that's our first. Now we're gonna do the same from the top right to the bottom left. So we are going to be drawing the 15th, 14th, and so forth, all the way to the first character. So we go back basically backwards. So else if, we're going from the end. So if C equals the number of elements minus 1, we're doing not minus 1 because again we start from 0, so this gives us the 15 elements. And now I'm going to also deduct minus R. So if the C equals 14 minus the first would be 0, it's still 14, so it will draw the last character, which would be this one. if then it will draw the character number 13 or the index 13, so which is number of elements minus 1 is still 14, but r is now 1. 14 minus 1 is 13, so it will draw this character. Then it will draw the 12th character. Again, 14 minus r will be 2, so 14 minus 2 equals 12, so it will draw this character, and all the way down to this one. Alright, so again, if this is the case, I'm going to draw the symbol for the pattern. Else, anything else, we will simply output the fill character. Which is the blank space. So I'm going to comment this draws the right to left, and this draws the empty spaces between symbols. So this is our conditions, and this is our for loops. That's all there is. Remember, in our box we needed to add an empty line, not an empty line, but move to the next line after each row. So after our inner loop, I'm going to add an empty line to move to the next row. Alright, so let's run it, and let's see if it's going to do anything. Alright, so it ran. Everything seems to be okay, no error messages, but let's see in our pattern.txt, and here is our x with the circles or the zeros. I think I've used O's or something. So this is from our input file. This is number 2 with O's. But our box is gone, and we used to have a box there. And I think the reason is, if we go to our draw x, our box has a iOS out. We are overriding the file, we're creating it from the scratch again, so we don't append to it. But that's because draw box is the first pattern that we draw. We want to start a new file. However, this one, we don't want to start a new file, we want to append to it. We want to append to the box. So now when I run it, and I open a pattern, here's our box, 2 empty lines, and here's our x. Alright, so that's our box and x, and next one we will draw the plus. Alright, so stick around for the next video. Take care.